So everyone, my name is Odysseas Christoforidis. We've had the question just now of do we know what customer experience is? And I was very happy to see a lot of people actually raise their hands. And why is that? It's because indeed customer experience is everywhere around us. It's in the stores we visit, it's in the restaurants we go. And of course, it's also very, very important that it's there on the contact centers or the support sessions that we have with the brands that we're actually customers of. So what we're going to present today and what we're going to discuss today is how is AI currently affecting, how is it infiltrating, and what is it going to change when it comes to the contact center world that we've all have been experienced throughout all these years. However, before we begin, just a short introduction of who we are and where the company that we're working from is coming from. So, first of all, we're talking about the Teleperformance Group. The Teleperformance Group currently comprises of almost 500,000 employees globally. That pretty much requires our employees to be speaking more than 300 languages and dialects, which means that all over the place, we are actually providing high-level support sessions and services, digital services for our customers in order to have high-end customer experience. Now, we're serving more than 170 countries, and we have physical location in 95 out of those 170 that we're currently serving for. And if you're going to ask, why do you have a physical location? Because when you're inside the country, indeed, nativity and the aspects and the cultural aspects and everything that you need to be able to provide are actually there. And as a global, Teleperformance is a group committed to digital transformation, so we have more than 10,000 transformation projects globally. So it's a big bank of information, a big bank of best practices from where we can actually see and learn and evolve constantly our infrastructure. Now, more specifically about our family here in Greece, την οικογένειά μας λοιπόν εδώ στην Ελλάδα, we have Teleperformance Greece. Established in 1989, we are talking about a magical place of more than 12,000 employees. We do not support 300 languages or dialects, but we do support 42 of them. And something that is very noteworthy to be mentioned is that 64% of our current workforce is actually working from home. So back then, when we had COVID enter the history pretty much of our world, we had to adjust, and this is when a big majority of our employees have been moved to working from home. 140 markets served, and as you see, 7.6K workstations. Why? Because majority of workforce remains working from not the premises, but from their place. This is just an introduction of how we look. However, throughout our history, which is long, there were two very important milestones that took place that led us to today. The first one was, of course, in 2004, when we realized that Greece could be a place where big brands could actually come, could receive service for all the languages or for as many languages as possible all over the world. So what we did is that we transformed Teleperformance Greece into a multilingual hub. What does a multilingual hub mean? Let me describe you just a day at Teleperformance. I come to the office, I'm greeted from somebody from Latin America, then I see people from Europe, I go into an operational unit and I see a lot of people from all over the world supporting them. Just going through the elevator, you actually see all those people and you get to interact with them and learn things about their culture. So pretty much, we're talking about truly multinational experience when you're working with Teleperformance. And the second one, of course, was later on in 2020 when COVID hit and we had to adjust and digitally transform pretty much our entire operational world, our entire business world within Teleperformance. Now, to get a little bit to the chase then. So we're here talking about AI, and what we need to understand is that, okay, when you are going to implement AI, you pretty much need to have a strategy. What is the current strategy that we have within Teleperformance? So first of all, of course, we need AI for the high-tech aspect. What is the high-tech aspect? We need things faster, more automated, more accurate, and we need to be able to actually produce more than we could produce before we had the AI. And also, this will be done more effortlessly, and I will elaborate more as we go. The second one is a pillar And if there was one point from this presentation that I would like to emphasize is getting an AI solution off the shelf and putting it anywhere is not going to do the magic that we expect it to do in most of the cases. When is it going to truly do the magic is when we take a process, we adjust the process, no matter where you're coming from and what organization you're leading or working from behind. And then we adjust this process and enhance it with AI. So it's not about taking just a bot, putting it in, putting 2 or 3 questions for it to answer, but it's about how is it going to be absorbing the capacity, the sizing, the intervals? What is the customer experience of our customers going to be when they do that? Is there any opportunity for automation? And so on and so forth. And the last one, extremely important actually also, is, if not the most important part, is the EI part. What is EI? EI is, of course, emotional intelligence. It means connecting with your customers and showing them that you are there, you appreciate them, you understand their problem, and you're going to do everything possible based on the pros that you have to actually solve this problem. So when you have, however, a lot of mundane tasks and a lot of things to do that we're going to describe later on, you are not capable to always deliver that. So with AI, we understand that this is an area that is going to be pushed even more. We've seen some examples of what it does, and here we can also see a small description of the difference of EI and AI within teleperformance. When we're talking EI, managing our people from the heart, understanding their issue, not a cold, I'm sorry there is anything that we can do for that. We need to be there for them. And making long-lasting connections that are going to help also the brand move to the next step. And when we're talking about AI, pretty much the most important aspect is freeing customers from mundane tasks. I'm 100% sure that if I may ask a question here, how many of us here have worked in a contact center before? Okay, that's sizable. Guys, you're working for teleperformance, like, come on, pick up your hands. So that's sizable, and I think that whenever we worked in a contact center, we always felt that customer just called us, right? And now we need to check his information, and then we need to ask and verify the customer, then we need to input things into the system, then when we input the things into the system, we need to categorize the contact for it to be correct. So we need to do a lot of things that have a huge value for our organization or our clients, but it doesn't bring any value, at the current moment at least, to the customers that we are serving. So what happens then? AI is the perfect technology to help us automate those mundane tasks, manage it for our customer representatives, so the customer representatives can pretty much focus on the most important aspect, which is the customer. So the part where freeing customer experts from basic mundane tasks is the most important part. And AI to help me with the microphone would also be good. That's constantly popping from my ears, but not developed yet. Now, moving a little bit on practically. Okay, so Odi, you explained to us that AI is going to be changing certain things, allow us to focus on AI, but on EI, but what can it practically change? So on the left, we actually have the previous situation, right? You have a very talented individual who has been selected, has been trained, and then you have him there, and the individual is receiving technology, receiving help, receiving knowledge base, receiving data, and we need to actually perform, manage, and handle the case. What changes now is that our individuals and our customer experts are actually getting much, much more empowered. There are technologies already in place, like AI-guided interactions, okay? You do not need to ask the customer, then go to a knowledge base, search 10 different links, and understand what do you need to answer to the customer. You can immediately follow the advice from the AI, which has done all this work for you instantaneously, and give these answers to the customer while focusing on them. Then, real-time data insights. We don't need to always go to Power BI or ClickView or whatever else we are using, or Tableau as a data management system. We can simply immediately get our information fetched or communicated to us through AI so we can take our decisions and see how the customer needs to be managed. Then, quality assurance. We all know those QA guys that usually you have a person taking contacts and then you have some some team in the background monitoring or checking those contacts to check how we're doing. And if we call some of the brands, we also receive information. This call might be recorded or will be recorded for quality purposes, which pretty much means that we should be expected for this call to be analyzed and evaluated by the quality team. Well, AI right now is the quality team. It's able to observe, communicate, and provide insights and findings that was not as easy and as effective as before, with huge sample sizes. And of course, very important, I think we've heard the word machine learning today in many presentations. So indeed, by having our system, receiving all this information, getting trained constantly, we are able to get on a glide path for continuous improvement, which means constantly improving our performance. Be that customer satisfactions, be that customer loyalty, be that issue resolution, be that any key performance indicator when customer in the contact centers. Moving a little bit forward. So how do we do all those things? We follow a process, right? We love processes in general in the world we're coming from. So what we do is we initiate with 3 pillars. We have the technology pillar, which we need to understand what exactly are going to be the technological solutions we're going to follow. We have the analytics pillar, and then we have the process pillar as well. More specifically, this is what we call the continuous improvement process, which means that to understand what do we want to transform, we map the process into detail of the detail, then we identify the opportunity, create the business case, and then we add the technology. So what's the difference? The difference is, I want an AI thing to do that. You go and take it and plug it in and hope for the best. Or we assess, we process map, we create a business case, and then strategically incorporate our AI solution into our environment. So whatever the environment is, this is how it should be done. And here is an example of a traditional process. We see the phone channel, the live channel, social media channel, email channel. It would go to the IVR, and then it would have our very important people taking those volumes. But what changes is that by enhancing digital transformation, and this is what everybody is doing right now out there in the world, is by how can we actually improve the processes and the technologies and the way we're doing things right now. So what has changed here? In the live chat, now we have an AI chatbot. In the IVR, we have a voice-to-message to send those contacts with AI to another category so the customers get a better experience. Then you get opportunities like a voice bot. Voice bots are not so robotic as they used to be in the past, or they could answer 2 or 3 questions. The difference of that bot and an actual bot is that the up-to-date 2025, I dare to say, not 24 anymore, caliber bot should be able to do much more things compared to what we're seeing mostly right now, because the tech is there and it should be able to support. As an example, taking a voice contact. And then, of course, Gen AI knowledge base, virtual services, floor workers, so a lot of different tools that we can use. This is an example coming from the contact center world, but the approach is the same, and no matter where you're coming from, you can follow the same for any process that you want to digitally transform. Transforming our operations or any kind of process is not about adding the technology on it. It's about taking it from the beginning and bringing it up to the point that it can deliver up to tech standards. Moving forward, so what kind of AI tools have been we using in teleperformance already? So of course, the ones that we mentioned already, high-end AI bots. Then, as you understand, in the contact center world, we need to understand the volumes we're going to be receiving. So AI forecasting, all the content that we're creating for presentations, coaching sessions, materials, etc. Not this one, I did it. Is created with AI as well. So you can now create PowerPoint slides or images by giving a few prompts to communicate. You don't need to have anymore a full content design team to do that. RPA and automation capabilities, and then on the right side, we see total real-time quality control, language agnostic capability, so it does not care if we're speaking in any language, it will understand the customer, it will understand our customer support representative, and is able to connect us and start helping us in that area as well. And then, of course, the data transformation capabilities. We had a session before about data, extremely important and crucial part because all those AI technologies, they do rely, their learning, their decision-making, everything that they do through our lives by reading and adapting to the information that they get from data points. So that's what we want necessarily to avoid, any bad data point. And here an example of what we said before, usually what kind of AI bots we see. Bots that have a predefined flow responses. They don't understand always what you say, how you say it. And then what they do is they have static resolution options. And if they cannot solve it, they're going to simply escalate you to a person that's going to do it for you. So they're helping a little bit in the queues. However, with AI bots, if it's not going to solve it now, it's going to learn. And it's going to do it the next time. And that's the responsibility of us who are maintaining it. And then it has the data architectures. It can run automations, actually, so things that we could do manually or with our mouse or in the ticketing systems, etc. It can help us with those automations. And of course, very important that it can talk more properly, right, and not with predefined questions because of the natural language processing. So we're talking about something that could simply answer questions, transforming to something that can do things for you, and not simply answer, yes, that's what this. You could find it on the internet, theoretically, so we could just upload it somewhere. So the point of the bot is to do better than what we're seeing, at least in the market now. Extremely important point is also that in our environments, we are training adults, right? And I see it all the time. It's different training, an adult, Gen Z, an adult millennial, and now we actually have Generation A. So I guess I am getting old. So those Generation A now are even more advanced in the way, and I'll dare to say, in a good way, lazy, that they want learning to be effective and effortless, and not necessarily a huge fast that they need to take to. So when it comes to AI again, and training those employees into AI, this is things that we need to be taking under consideration. So I added for the end of the presentation just 3 mini examples for you. So for example, we talked before about mundane tasks, right? And we mentioned that the agents have a lot to do manually during their contact session without necessarily being able to focus on the customer. So one example is that, yeah, after the contact is sent, you need to put a summarization in, put it in, and this is actually calculated and measured, and we know that this is something that we have in our lives. But what if you didn't have to do it? What if the AI was listening and simply pushing it into the CRM system you have, and it's done? And the agent doesn't have to do that anymore because the delivery of this is extremely high quality. And you see also some examples on the screen and the benefits that we actually get by using this solution. Then we call it TP Interact, but what is this? You don't need any more to evaluate 3 or 4 contacts or 5 per agent per month. You have technology that listens all the communications, provides you alerts on anything that you might be interested in, and very, very importantly, you don't need a sample of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 evaluations per agent anymore. You can do it for every single volume that you have, and from there, you get an amazing amount of information, actionable information that you can use. Imagine every single contact your brand receives, you know, why did it happen, what was the perception, did they like it, did they not like it, what was the comments, what did they mention about the competition, what did they mention about this? So it's a gold mine of information that people need to evaluate, extract action, and improve the organization. Moving from TP Interact that we see here, you can see examples of a dashboard created by this technology. We have the last one. This technology here helped us to connect and link all these brands and all these cultures that we saw in before. It's Storify. It's a technology with AI, ABAS, that provides us the capability to provide high-tech, high-enabled services with fluent communication and without the customers feeling that they're serviced by some kind of inadequate linguistically bot or automation, but on the contrary, by high-end linguistic services. Thank you.